I can't play in 7/8 and sing at the same time, apparently.
No, it's very, very high octane. It's it's.
It is, but the song itself is in 7/8. And it's hard to play in a slightly odd time signature and sing at the same time. Turns out I'm not as good as Adrian Belew.
But try again. This time I won't jump in.
No. Interesting thing about that song while we're talking about it. It's called Frame by Frame. This is what this podcast. Welcome everybody.
Hi everybody.
Yeah. So one guitarist plays in 7/8, yeah? But they look at it as in 2 bars of 7/8 being a bar of 14/8.
Yeah.
One guitarist is playing that. The other guitarist, which is Robert Fripp, plays the same looped, but he takes the last note off. So it's like 14/8 over 13/8.
Oh.
And it starts to cross, and it sounds like this weird, trippy delay effect. But eventually it catches itself back up and he rejoins it. It's madness. Really difficult to play.
It's kind of like when you got two clocks ticking, and there's like a slight differentiation in the ticking, and then they're like tick, tick, and you got tick, 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 and then they're synchronized for just 1 microsecond.
It's kind of like that, yeah. Well, they are in time playing it.
Yeah, of course.
But it's yeah. We used to do it back in the day. When the band started on the 1,
yeah,
I was doing the 13/8 bit, so I'd be halfway through a bar, and all the band starting on 1. It used to really messes with your head.
I bet it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not musically, aesthetically, it doesn't feel right. And
no. But when they initially did it, they thought they were doing weird trickery in the studio. It just turns out they're ridiculously good musicians.
Yeah.
I had a new student turn up, and he was, I think he might have been nerves, I don't know, but he was really cocky.
Yeah.
So I've been playing guitar for like over a decade, man. I don't think there's anything you show me, but, you know, the girlfriend said I should come here anyway, so I'm just coming to just to see, you know, what it is. I went, all right, well, do you know your scales? Oh, of course I know my scales. I went, all right, and he was being really sort of a bit of
obnoxious. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went, all right, so I give him the chords to Hopelessly Devoted, you know, from Greece.
Yeah.
And play me that. No, couldn't even attempt the chords. I'm like, there we go. Because it's actually quite a complicated song. Doesn't sound it. There's some really quite tricky chord sequences in there. And
there are. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I can actually hear them. It's the shifting. I only discover that when I start playing pieces of music on the piano, and I think, oh gosh, I can't actually do that. Like I actually tried to play E.T., the theme to E.T. I thought, oh, I can do that. That seems simple enough. But then, okay, it goes there, and then it goes there. I'm like, okay, so I need to make sure I change that. And I'm like, I can't keep up. I have to really break it up and just do it frame by frame, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like the Exorcist theme is just...
Yes.
But if you're trying to play it on a piano, the left hand is in a different time signature than the right hand. So the right hand's doing the left hand's going in different stabs, and they cross each other. So you need to be able to just cut your brain in half and said, right, left brain, you take care of that. Right brain, you take care of that.
The left hand, I just basically just go dum and just hold it, and just hold it, and just hold it. Yes.
This is a movie podcast, by the way, people.
It's a movie podcast.
You talking to me?
Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?
Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
Oh, funny how? I mean, funny like a clown.
I'm Peter Binkman.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Man that doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.
Yeah. Hot.
I'm kind of a big deal.
First rule of my club is do not talk about my club.
Yeah, baby.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Today is 1996 Day.
It is.
It was only a week ago that we did 1995, or was it 2 weeks? I think it was just over a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, just over a week.
And yeah, that was quite an episode. We were very tight. We did well. There was Jackie Chan all over the place.
Yeah, clearly today's not going to be like that because we've
Today-
probably been going for a while already. We haven't even started.
Today, well, it might be different, but I kind of feel confident that we know our choices, and we're probably going to have some overlaps. It's a weird year, 1996.
Yeah, there's some quite mainstream films that I just sort of had to talk about, and I went through
Yeah.
a massive list, and yeah, nothing else seemed to really jump out apart from these mainstream things, really. So yeah,
Yeah, I've got one small movie in this whole bunch, simply because everything just needed to be spoken about, I think.
I think I've got a small movie in there. It's kind of a cult thing now. Might not stand up the test of time, but I'm not sure. I think we watched it a few years ago, and I think it still does.
Yeah? Interesting.
Right?
Okay, so I think we need to start the music. Pearl and Dean. So yeah, Andy, I think I went first last time, so you go first this time.
Okay, straight out the back.
Let's
You
do
ready?
it. Let's go.
I went with Scream.
Same here.
Oh, did you pick that for number one?
Number one, yeah.
You're not scared, are you?
Someone has taken their love of fear one step too far.
We know you're not the killer.
Solving this mystery
Everybody's a suspect!
is going to be murder.
Who are you?
The question is, where am I? We all go a little mad sometimes.
Scream, the new thriller from Wes Craven, rated R.
It's going to be overlaps today.
There's gonna be overlaps.
How could you not? This has to be talked about. We talk about 1996. It's well, first it started a franchise that's still going on to this day. You know, Nev Campbell says she's coming back to do it again, but
Yeah.
the first film is brilliant. It's just an homage to slasher films. That opening with Drew Barrymore, it's just telling you, isn't it? It's like whatever you think's going to happen, it's not. But then what you think's going to happen still kind of happens, really. But just have like a main actress die in the first opening scene.
That's
like
it.
Drew Barrymore.
It was novel back then. It's been done to death since then. But but this kind of felt like a whole fresh thing. It felt like we'd never seen anything like this in such a long time. Horror had been struggling in the early 90s, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you have the underground stuff and all the French extremity stuff, but
yes,
you know, no one needs to see any of that. So yeah, you're right. And then this was just, and it's great to Wes Craven just coming back and saying, "I've not gone away. Look how good I still am." You know what I mean?
Yeah, he nailed it. And if there'd only been just one Scream, it would have still been talked about. It still would have been as big as it is now, even with the franchise and the TV series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but this one film, when it came out, it felt like an event. It felt like it felt like Halloween. We'd gone back to 1978 and it was Halloween all over again.
Well, it's a film that could have been tailor-made for people like us. You know, all the callbacks to other slasher films. You know, characters are called characters out of like Halloween and that, and and I like how self-aware the script is.
Yeah,
you know, one bit Nev Campbell saying how you know, it's just a dumb film where people are running up the stairs rather than running out the front door. And then later in the film, she runs up the stairs instead of trying to get out the front door. You know, it's
exactly. It's right there, and it's And the thing is, we didn't get annoyed with that. We let it happen, even though we know better as well as an audience. We just let it happen, and we accepted her running up the stairs. We accepted the "I'll be right back" line. You know, we let it all happen, and it was good. And we didn't sit there and go, "Oh, I can't believe they're doing this." It could have been that kind of a movie. It could have, if it was done any other way, it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, the movie, the script and everything, it's all about having the cake and eating it,
Yes, it did. Yes.
Because it's making it say we're self-aware of these things, but we're still going to put them in there anyway. and it's just going to be huge fun.
That's it.
Right. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think any Scream film is remotely scary. Not one of them.
That is kind of true. They might think they've got you, but you're too aware that it's a movie. You're too aware that these are characters, and you know that something's about to happen. Why does it keep you going back?
Because it's just a really good film.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great film, but you know, the horror, it's a slasher film, so it's a genre of horror. Probably not a genre of film, because a slasher film like a Friday the 13th, like Halloween didn't start like this. Like, I think Halloween is one of the still in my top 10 favorite films of all time.
Yeah.
And but like Friday the 13th, it's about kill, isn't it? It's about how creative you kill somebody. So it's a weird thing where you're sort of rooting for the bad guy because you want to see how he murders the people with murder. That's what it's about. It's like going into a ghost. It's a ghost train. You know, it's
exactly.
Just,
and that's why you always like to get dressed as the villains. People like to play as Jason, as Freddy. You know, the killer is the most fascinating character in these stories, and it's glorifying their atrocity, which it's a weird thing when you think about it.
It is weird, but there's something just interesting about that.
Yes.
And it's not like the films are saying murder's great. It's not. It's just like, look at the creative way we can do this. How did Kevin Bacon's the knife come through his neck and all the blood come through in the very first Friday the 13th?
Yeah, there is that.
Creative ways of doing things, and that's what it's about.
Making you believe that something has just happened right there in front of you. And that's... Yeah, exactly. But Ghostface, man... What a creation! I mean, they hit everything right, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, who doesn't have the soundtrack as well? I mean, it's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it takes you right back. You play that whole soundtrack, you were back in 1996, and yeah, the poster. Well, I had the poster, the screen.
I had the poster on the wall. Yeah.
Did you have it in the letters or the actual Drew Barrymore face with the lips?
I had that one, that one.
Yeah. I had the it's weird.
There was a limited edition videos, VHSs that came out that had the Drew Barrymore, and I had, because you got it for Scream 1 and Scream 2, they never did it for Scream 3. I had it for both those two Scream films. Yeah,
and it was this time of I remember it started for me with 12 Monkeys, the reversible cover find. Rental videos at the time had reversible covers, and they were like limited editions. Right. And Scream had it. 12 Monkeys. That's my list of 2, but there were others.
Too many.
That's too many. I've got, but there were just I had a friend who was always like seeking out. So said, "Hey, Stephen, look at this." He'd open the case, and he'd like slide it out. I'd be like, "Oh." It's a different cover, and it's like an artist sketch design or something completely different that you wouldn't normally see on the actual main market. And Scream was, it was special. It made films special again, which was what we needed. Yeah. It's a great film. I don't think it's particularly scary. No, really not.
But and they do try and have the creative deaths, you know, like getting stuck in the garage door and things like that. But it's just I love how self-aware the script is. I love the fact that one of the classes in the school is film classes, and they're talking about these things and who's going to die next. And they're using the law of slasher films to try and figure out what's going on. And what a great way to carry on the franchise, because they did so well, they have to make a second one. Then they made a film in the Scream 2, they made Stab. Yes. Based on what had happened in Scream 1, and it's a self-perpetuating thing, you know, and that whole life imitating art and art imitating life thing. It was a nice little... at least for the very first 2 films, it was very self-aware, clever. writing, story.
And I think from 3 onwards, it be kind of be like, because the idea of a third sequel is that it's not very good, and they could have actually played on that a little bit more. But they can't. You got to make the best movie you can make. You need to try and top the last one. That's the whole idea of sequels. But it kind of ran out of modes of reference, and I think that's. But then it became a TV series, and I wonder if I haven't actually watched the series. Have you?
Never watched. I was never interested to watch it,
because it's like, what we're going to glean from that, or is it just going to be straightforward? Let's just do a slasher film, do the film on TV. Yeah, but
or they could have done a self-aware thing about
TV shows.
And why do you have to make a TV show out of a successful film and ruin it? That would have been all right. Who knows?
And the last episode. Oh, here comes. Let's talk about cliffhangers and talk about the actual meta of cliffhangers. And maybe that's where they went, but we'll never know because we're not going to watch it.
No, not interested.
Probably not. Yeah, it's just But isn't that funny how it can only go so far before it just drops off, and even though they carry things on, we know we've stopped. We know we've okay, we're done with 2. That's it. We're fine.
Yeah, we watched one of was it Scream 4? I think we watched maybe last year or early this year, and it wasn't very good.
It's forgettable. But maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the self-awareness. They wanted to make it forgettable because that's what the 4th movie is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be forgettable. Mission accomplished. Yay, what a great series.
Hey, wow. Cake in here. Well done, guys.
Done it. Yes, we lost money, but it was worth it. People got fired. People are never going to work in this industry again because that's what happens with 4th movies. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's it. Yeah. So, number 2. Weird.
Yeah, let's see if we've done this.
Well, I kind of put 2 together, and I don't know why I put these 2 together. I think it's the theme because I just couldn't split them up. So here I've got I'm going to be talking about Sleepers, the Barry Levinson film.
20 years ago,
the court hereby sentences you to no less than 1 year.
They received a punishment.
You gotta have rules and you gotta have discipline.
Far more than they deserved. They've reunited.
You read The Count of Monte Cristo lately?
In a pact to avenge the past.
I read words like revenge.
Kevin Bacon, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Jason Patrick, Brad Pitt.
Payback time.
From the controversial bestseller, Sleepers, rated R, starts Friday, October 18th.
And Joel Schumacher's A Time to Kill.
This Saturday, you are invited to a very special time. Sandra Bullock.
Really like to help you with the trial.
Samuel L. Jackson.
She needed me and I wasn't there to protect her.
Matthew McConaughey.
We have a duty to seek the truth with our hearts.
Kevin Spacey.
There is a distinction between wanting revenge and taking it.
Do you think they deserve to die? Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
A Time to Kill, rated R. Sneak preview Saturday, July 13th. Starts Wednesday, July 24th.
Both of them are films about abuse. And murder and about justice and about how justice is actually attained and how it becomes a thing. With Sleepers is a Barry Levinson drama. It's a very dark, gritty kind of a film about a group of kids who accidentally murder a hot dog vendor with his own hot dog vending. What do you call it? The trolley.
Yep.
And it's like a huge prank gone wrong, and these kids.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. It's the New York. I'm going to get a hot dog and then I'm going to run and not pay for it, and then they end up stealing the cart and running it down a subway and killing a guy. And so of course these kids are all in trouble. They this is like early. It's like the 30s or 40s, I think, or. It's a long time ago. I can't remember, but they end up in a kind of like a juvenile detention facility where they meet Kevin Bacon, who is the most disgusting sex fiend since since The Woodsman. You know. So, and he abuses them, and it's very obvious and graphic about what goes on. They pull away with the camera, of course, but you know what's going on, and it's very uncomfortable. And then, of course, they do the whole It thing where we go into the future, and they're all played by adults now. They're leading their own lives. One of them's a lawyer, and it's you've got Brad Pitt, you've got Jason Patrick, you've got Minnie Driver's in it. Is one of the kids now. That's one of the only girls who was in it. And these guys they all come together, and it turns out that a couple of the guys actually spotted Kevin Bacon in a restaurant eating food. They said, it's that guy who used to abuse us. Is it him? It is him. Of course, they're armed. They go over there and they shoot him. So the whole film is then about the justice in that, trying to get these two guys off of a murder because they feel as though they were wrong. They were right in getting that revenge justice that was never ever gotten to them, because this Kevin Bacon guy, he got away with it because they were kids. And yeah, it's a really interesting film. It's a great drama. It's got Dustin Hoffman is also a lawyer in it. De Niro's in it as a priest, is the one who kind of like tries to guide them and help them along. And yeah, it's about people getting away with stuff. And is it okay to go after your own source of vigilante violence? Have you seen Sleepers?
I have, yeah, a long time ago.
But it's such a beautifully written film, and it's even though it delves into that dark subject matter, it's very. It kind of makes you feel as though you're with these group of characters all the way. You're not. There's something about them, and that's it. You just understand it. You understand it, no matter where you're coming from. And of course, so that was Sleepers, and at the same time, A Time to Kill. It's Samuel L. Jackson's daughter is raped by some white men, and he decides that when they don't get the justice that they need, he goes in there and he wipes them out. He also accidentally shoots a police officer in that situation, and then it's about watching Matthew McConaughey trying to figure out, should a black man stand trial for doing something that he felt was unjust in the first place. It's a great court case film. Both of these movies, Sleepers and A Time to Kill, are basically court case dramas. Yeah. But with A Time to Kill, it's about the era, it's the time, it's about racial discrimination, it's about the speeches in this. Matthew McConaughey is absolutely extraordinary as the lawyer, and Sandra Bullock is right there with him as his budding assistant, and she's one lawyer who's seen people on death row so many times that she's watched them beg, she's seen them die. And this is what's going to happen to Samuel L. Jackson if they don't find a way of getting him off and getting him acquitted. But yeah, what an incredible book by John Grisham. It's funny that it's directed by Joel Schumacher, who had previously done. When did he do Batman and Robin? Was it after this? It was after this.
Could have been after this.
Yeah. So this was kind of like his last film before he became the joke of the bad movie director, which was a bit of a shame, because he is a really good director, and as you can see from this film, A Time to Kill, it was right on target, and I couldn't drop one of these. I just couldn't. So
you put them both in.
Put them both in. Yeah. But yeah, very dark material, but
yeah,
worthwhile just going for the ride,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, both films I've not seen for a while, but yeah, I remember really kind of heavy, but yeah, really good, really good.
But it seemed like the time, we'd had our coming of age movies in '95 and '94, and all these comedy films. It's almost as if by the age of 16, I was ready for these kind of hard subject matters and to actually to get something out of it,
Because I mean, a year for Samuel L. Jackson, the same year, because I was thinking I was going to put Long Kiss Goodnight on the list.
Yeah.
But we watched it the other night, and even though I think the script's great, and it's quite witty and really well done, and Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson, everyone's good in it, I just find the way it's sort of directed was not very good at all. And the way it's cut, it felt a bit too jarring and a bit too... Certain scenes didn't quite go into each other very well, and I thought I just couldn't stick it in, really, but...
Yeah.
He had a good year, though, didn't he?
He did have a good year, but yeah, that film was not memorable. I do remember watching it. It was one of those rentals, and it's like, it's a shame. But, I don't think it mattered to him. Working with...
It's a Shane Black film, isn't it? He wrote it. And all these films, we watched it because we're watching nothing but Christmas films at the minute.
Yeah.
Because all Shane Black's films are all based around Christmas. Like Lethal Weapon, all that, they're all at Christmas.
Very much,
I thought, we'll give it a go. And Tracy loves Long Kiss Goodnight. So we watched it, and I was like,
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. But Gina Davis was trying to do something different. I mean, I think she got trampled on before that with Cutthroat Island, a film that was completely ridiculously dull, not interesting. So she needed a bit of a recovery movie, and I think she struggled for a couple of years until I think she found her. She wet her feet pretty well in TV later on, but no, I think the time of Gina Davis was almost over in this decade.
Yeah, which is a shame because she's got a real Hollywood look about her.
She does. She's a classic.
Old school, classically beautiful person. Yeah.
And I think I just kind of think, I wish there were better films for her out there. I still do, and I think she'll like she and Jodie Foster, they both had to pick and choose the things that they work on, and they not everything was just written for them.
I just want to point out at this juncture, I'm not implying that female actors need to be beautiful to be brilliant. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is she has an old school quality about her that looks like a classic femme fatale type.
Yeah, and it's about what goes on that screen and who goes on that screen, and Gina Davis has a presence that is enigmatic, and you're just drawn to that, and it doesn't matter, as much as you'd be drawn to Dustin Hoffman or anybody, it's
precisely.
Yeah, exactly. It's character. It's character. Yeah. Wow. So there we go. That was my double hitter for that one. So what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm going to bring it back up and be a bit more positive.
Oh no, here we go. 7-2.
Oh no, it is. I went with Jerry Maguire.
Oh, you did, Jerry Maguire.
I did.
Taxi!
On December 13th,
Is it my imagination, or didn't we arrive in a limo?
Tom Cruise is sports agent Jerry Maguire.
What can I do for you, Rod? What can I do for you?
Show me the money. Say it with me one time, Jerry.
Show me the money!
You can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it with meaning, brother. Show me the money! Louder! Show me the money! Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Jerry Maguire, rated R, opens December 13th.
Jerry! Looks like you've got a fan. Yeah.
You know this is gonna change everything.
Promise. I've got this great guy. And he loves my kid.
You complete me.
Tom Cruise, Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr., Renee Zellweger, Jerry Maguire. Buy it today.
By Cameron Crowe. He used to write for Rolling Stone, so the soundtrack to all these films are always impeccable.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I love this film a lot, is the soundtrack is just fantastic. There's so many great songs on there. But it's just a really good, heartwarming film, Everyone's good in it. Cruise is great in it before he had that dead behind the eyes look.
Yes,
Renee Zellweger's brilliant. I know you got the cute kid in it. Cuba Gooding Jr. I mean, he won the Oscar for this film, but he's hilarious in this film. He's so brilliant and funny. And it's just a good, heartwarming story where, about what happens if you're in a really high-paying job and you tell the truth. And, he wrote mission statements and gets fired, and he starts his own business and
tries to pull everything back. Yeah.
Yeah, chooses to actually focus on the people rather than the money, and
that's it.
It's a beautiful little film, and I love it. I think it's a brilliant film. I think it's just such a really nice, inspiring, lovely film.
It's a very warm-colored film. I kind of when I think of Jerry Maguire, I just think of like just warm coffee latte colors, and just it's comfortable. It's a comfortable, nice, soft, and it's not harsh. It's like there's that scene where he's like possibly like flipping out in front of all the office, and it's a great scene, and it's like he's
trying to stay calm, and he goes, "I'm not going to do what you all think I'm going to do," and flip out.
Yes, I love that scene, and it's like everybody's kind of like thinking, "Uh-oh, here we go," because they know he's a very edgy person, usually too much, and he's kind of. It's like all of a sudden he's aware of himself so much about how people view him, and it is that depth of humanity that he's kind of suddenly realizing that he needs to discover. So,
but all the characters in it are their own worst nightmares.
True.
Maguire he's a victim of his success. He's got a big ego about him. Cuba Gooding Jr. can't see past his own ego. You know what I mean? And that's why he's not getting the sponsorships he wants in the film, because of his personality keeps tripping himself up, even though he's a great, lovely guy.
Yeah.
Renée Zellweger's character in it is still super romantic and
she puts her heart too much into everything.
Yeah. Even her sister is like really introverted and doesn't trust anybody, and that's her fault. And everyone's got an arc in the film, and everyone's got to realise the faults and come through it. And you can tell as the film goes on how it's going to end. You know exactly what's going to happen, and it's not about the conclusion that's inevitably coming. It's how all the people get there, and it's a good script. It's really funny, and it's just 1996. There it is. It's just a heartwarming little gem of a movie that I really, really enjoy. I really like.
It was just nice to see Tom Cruise just being somebody with not got ego writing checks, his body cash kind of like sweat. You want to see him as a I mean, sure, he was in A Few Good Men and he was a lawyer and doing and a firm, but he was just a human being in an ordinary world, trying to learn to be an ordinary person, and that's quite difficult for him.
It's difficult because he's not a normal person.
He's not. He's a very everybody's fascinated. Whenever somebody works with them, like Simon Pegg works with them, everybody asks Simon Pegg, what's it like to work with Tom Cruise, because he is this enigma, and for him to play a kind of a down-to-earth character like that and to ground him,
I was thinking it was Christian Bale when he was doing American Psycho. Said, where did you get that character from? He said, well, like Tom Cruise, even though he's a good actor, I know there's something empty behind his eyes. And he played on that to do American Psycho. He doesn't have it in this film.
No.
I mean, he's good in this film, but you can see it in later films where he's sort of affected by his own mystique now, And
yeah. You kind of feel uncomfortable with him most of the time, and you wonder if he was in a room, you wouldn't know how to behave, you wouldn't know how to act, because you'd be worried about doing the wrong thing.
So I don't know what more we can say about it. It's just a really heartwarming film. Everyone's great in it. Kelly Preston's great in this film. As well, it's lovely. It's just a film, and
the music, like you say, the music kind of takes you on that journey, and it's it's got a lot of some even corny but right, like Free Falling, singing in the car. There's a little bit of a corny,
that's Cameron Crowe's little angle in it, where it can come across as a little bit too sentimental, but it just works. It's just on that cusp, and
That's it.
Like I said, every time we've done these, I have to be sort of true to, instead of trying to be clever and go, I want you to pick this film because it's me. I've had to go, well, what really from 1996 would I really talk about? And that's one of them.
And so my next one is Monkey Trouble 3. That was
Oh, yours too?
Yes. Right. So let's talk about something different.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. I'll go for the indie one now. Let's get the indie one out of the way. The Late Shift.
Late Shift.
The Late Shift, which is it's actually a HBO TV movie about the fight for late night between Jay Leno and David Letterman.
Thinking about all the money we've got riding on late night. The last thing we need is a problem there.
See, I don't have a contract with you. I can move Jay to CBS within a month.
Have you seen this? I mean, this has to be Helen. Just, I want to be able to swear to Johnny that this didn't come from us.
So go ahead and swear.
All we need to do now is get Jay signed. Keep him off CBS.
Jay is the host the first weeknight after Carson's last show. No word of this leaves this room. Where does that leave us with Letterman? He can't go anywhere.
Here's Johnny.
This is the last year that I'm doing The Tonight Show.
What did he just say?
So who's it gonna be? Who gets to the Tonight Show?
Is it Leno or Letterman? We got it, Jay. One more year.
NBC will announce that Jay Leno has been named the next host of The Tonight Show.
Gentlemen, this is completely unacceptable.
You already have a deal with Leno?
It's the only dream of my whole life.
Can't just want it, you have to do something.
Mike Ovitz. Was he trying to get sprung?
You'd have to hire God for that.
We have worked out a career plan for David, securing everything for Dave that he wants.
You said you had this under control.
You, Helen.
I want that show.
I don't respond well to threats.
So you do the fucking jokes, I run the fucking show.
She is completely out of control.
How can we make him happy?
He wants the Tonight Show.
The guy seems to be totally dependent on him.
Helen Kushnick got it for me.
And she could lose it for you, too.
This is the best opportunity we have ever had to break NBC's stranglehold on late night.
And there's enough animosity in this relationship to start a small war.
Well, they told me they were gonna fire me and bring in David. But I get the show, right? You guys would do that to me?
Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
Yeah, top 10 jokes that NBC won't let us do.
Only hell is breaking loose. Who the hell do you think forced Carson out so you could get the best fucking job in comedy? Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
Now, The Late Shift is actually originally a book. I have it in book form. The Late Shift by Bill Carter. Yeah, and it's basically an exploration of how, back in, 90, Johnny Carson decided that he was going to be leaving The Tonight Show. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, but who's going to be hosting The Tonight Show now? And David Letterman, because his show was after Johnny Carson's, he felt like he was a shoo-in. It was obvious. It's got to be him. So the film basically centers around the whole events that led up to the decision of choosing Jay. No spoilers required. We know he got the job. And his crazy assistant, Helen Kushnick, who is played by Kathy Bates in this movie, is incredible. As you would expect. She is... an amazing character, Helen Kushnick. That's Jay Leno's sidekick, who tries to get deals, tries to get things sorted. She lies, she gets her guns out, and she threatens people. She is a real core bitch, and this is a part of the story of how Jay Leno muscled his way trampled over David Letterman, and got the Tonight Show spot. And it's a great little TV movie. It's well written. It's well played. It's very exciting. It's written, directed by Betty Thomas, who, for the most part, she works with human dramas. She did and kind of comedy dramas. She directed Helen Hunt and Andrew McCarthy, Kelly Preston in Only You that year as well. Great year for Kelly Preston, by the way. Great decade for Kelly Preston. She's good in anything. Yes. She also directed Private Parts with Howard Stern, so she's good at pulling in real life characters and putting them into kind of a dramatic context, and so she does that well. But yeah, not many people have watched it in this country. I'm pretty sure that nobody's read the book.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it.
I bought the book in Sydney and I read it on the plane on the way home, and I was just fascinated because I'm a huge fan of David Letterman and not so much a fan of Jay Leno, but it's an entertaining story,
Right.
and a really good drama, and it's comedy drama. It's very, very funny. It's very worthwhile watching. That's The Late Shift.
All right, you ready? Yeah. Hiya, Mike. How are you?
Dave, 1 hour ago, Bob Wright conveyed to us an offer for you to host The Tonight Show. Now, don't jump to any conclusions. Let me lay all this out. The deal is 3 years with an option. The salary range is $7 to $12 million. Now, here's the wrinkle. The deal does not commence until May of 1994, 18 months from now.
What's all that about?
Well, it's rather transparently NBC's attempt to keep both you and Leno, at least for a while. The May date, as I understand it, coincides with the end of Leno's contract as the host of The Tonight Show.
But I get the show.
Yes.
I just don't get it now.
No.
I get it a year from May.
Yes.
And they don't force Jay out, right?
No, unless he quits, which I assume that he might. Maybe that's what they want him to do.
They're gonna Jay's gonna quit.
Not a chance. Not a chance, bro.
Jesus, can you believe this? They're gonna...
Dave, let me point out a few more things. CBS is offering more salary. CBS is offering ownership. CBS is also offering for the show to start in the fall. NBC the following spring. Maybe.
What's that? What's maybe?
Well, I mean that the deal is obviously very smoky in many details.
But I get the show, right?
No, not necessarily, David. The waiting period gives Jay 18 months to make the show a hit, and if he does, you can bet NBC will find a way to weasel out of the deal.
Late Shift, interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those wild card films, but I love it. It's one of my favorites. I have it on DVD.
You keep talking about these DVDs.
And in book form. Come on. It's in book form. And, of course, you know.
Anytime at Stephen's house he needs to take a picture, he just does a brass rub.
Yeah, do you want to see what the new design for our kitchen?
Yes. There you go. Quick before it fades.
Yeah, they wouldn't sketch it down. They'd get Michelangelo in and say, "Hey, this is where we want the cupboard. Draw it. This is where we want the bed."
You wouldn't ask Picasso though, would you? Go, no, we don't want the cupboard on the floor. And why would you put the bed on the ceiling? And why is there 4 eyeballs on the knees?
Yeah, you're just as bad as Salvador Dali. It's like, how many clocks can we fit in one room?
Is that a chair? No, it's liquid. What's going on?
Liquid with a giraffe sticking out of it. So there you go. Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Good call, man. Good call. I'm gonna watch that.
I think you should.
Okay. Well, my number 3.
Yep.
Is so what happened? Right. You're a struggling actor and you're trying to get parts in Hollywood. You moved to LA. You're trying your very best, and you're there with your friends, and it's not working out. You're trying to get all these parts. You're auditioning, and it's not working. You get off your ass and you write a script. You get friends to make it with you, and you release it. And somehow you get a good director involved to do it who believes in it. You get a bit of financing, and you release Swingers. That's my 3rd film.
I don't want you to be the guy in the PG-13 movie everyone's really hoping makes it happen. I want you to be like the guy in the rated R movie. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. You're a bad man.
In the city of Los Angeles, where everyone is a player.
What do you guys do?
Oh, I'm a producer.
Mike can't even get a seat on the bench.
Where do I know you from?
You ever been to the Ha Ha Hole on Pico?
Oh, you're a comedian.
It's it's a dream. It's a lot of hard work and travel.
I know where it is. Starbucks. You came in and asked me for an application.
But now his closest friends are getting him back into the swing of things.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
This happens to be a $100 minimum bet table. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable at one of our lower stakes tables.
How you ladies doing this evening?
What do you drive?
Cavalier.
It's a nice touch.
So how long do I wait to call?
2 days is like industry standard.
Well, how long are you guys going to wait to call your babies? 6 days.
Miramax presents the film that had an entire country on its feet.
You know what, big boy? You're grown up.
Swingers.
Hi, this is Nikki. Leave a message.
Hi, Nikki, this is Mike again. I just called because it sounded like your machine might have cut me off when I...
Roger Ebert calls it sweet, funny, observant.
Mikey's the big winner. Mikey wins.
A movie that defined a generation.
Hi, this is Nikki. Leave a message.
I didn't want you to think I was weird or desperate or... Hello?
Mike, don't ever call me again.
Swingers.
Wow.
Get a nightlife.
Swingers. Now, hang on.
Yeah, so directed by Doug Liman, who did well. Jon Favreau wrote it.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, it's just about a guy who moved to LA. He left his life behind. He left his girlfriend. Moved to LA just to basically be a comedian and an actor. And it's not working out. He's really struggling. He's got a few bit parts. He's doing a few like open mic nights and things like that. It's kind of just him and his friends are all trying to be actors. Are all just living life in LA. And it's about, again, it's like a story about spending time with these people and going to clubs and watching bars and trying to pick up girls. And, you know, Vince Vaughn has never been funnier than he is in this.
Heather Graham's in it as well, yeah.
Well, Heather Graham is just at the very end. He meets her in a bar at this point.
Yeah?
Because he's heartbroken. He left his girlfriend behind, but he also had to leave his girlfriend behind to move to LA because he felt like it's something he needs to do. He's heartbroken that she never calls him, and he's always complaining about him. He gets on his mates love him, but he's getting on his mates' nerves because he's living in the past, even though it was his idea to move. And at the end, he just meets Heather Graham, and they have this really cool little conversation, and they end up having a dance. And halfway through this dance, they end up like jiving and proper having a really good dance. You know, it's a really nice film. And it's a really, really witty script. It's really funny. It's got so many like one-liners, and it's a great film. Now, so I listen to a lot of film podcasts, and one of the questions on this podcast is, what's the film you used to love that you watched recently and doesn't stand up? And someone mentioned this, so I had to watch it again.
Yeah.
And I would say that person is wrong to mention this. There's a part where this fast food delivery guy comes to the door, and it could be misconstrued as being a little bit racist. How they are with the guy.
Yes.
So would not condone that. But
is it making a point of being racist for the story?
It's not.
Or is it just
it's borderline there? All the
borderline?
same, the guy offers him the pizza, and he's about to give him the money, and his mates are in the front room playing some game on a Mega Drive, I think, and they're going, "Oh, is he cute? Is he cute? Invite him in. Is he cute?" And it's actually quite funny because they're just trying to embarrass his mate. That's all they're doing. And he hands the money over, and he just looks at him and goes like that, and the fast food delivery guy just looks at him awkwardly, and that's it.
Yes.
Or there might be something in there that I missed that might be a little bit. But anyway, put that to aside.
Yes.
It's got a great sort of jazz soundtrack. It's got some great moments, great film talk because they're all burgeoning actors, and it's got some really great moments in it. It's really, really, and it's hilarious, man. It's really funny. It's a really funny film, and it's just you kind of go, I want to be there. I want to be there with these people.
Yeah,
I want to be there with these people, having a drink and having a laugh with them. You know, there's a funny scene where they go to Vegas. Just Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau's characters go to Vegas, and it's hilarious. It's really funny film. So I think this is a little bit of a gem that really no one really talks about. I don't think.
I got to admit I have not watched it, and nothing kind of jumped out to say go and watch this film. So but it's got a great. I'm just looking at the slogan, "Swingers get a nightlife," but then the term "swingers" in the UK means kind of
it's a different thing here.
Different thing here. So again, it might have just been the people don't talk about it because they don't know what it is. And that's probably what
in
it
this
is.
country,
Yeah, in this country.
if there's a film called Swingers, you'd assume it's about something else.
Yeah, it's like Dogging is probably a title that might go differently in America than it will here.
Mate, there's a scene in it where he's met this girl and his mates are all saying to him, like, don't talk to him. He's like, no. And they've got this thing like, man, you're so money. You're so money. You're so money. You're like a bird with big fucking claws, man. You're so money. You don't even know it. You're like a big bird. And he's like, oh, you're just messing with him. He goes, no, man, go over. And all these mates are super confident. All these girls all the time. So he goes over to this girl and they have a conversation. And in the end, he gets a number. And he's like, right. And they're all saying to him, and it's quite cliche now, but like saying, well, should I give her a call tomorrow? No. You wait 3 days. You wait 3 days? Yeah, you wait 3 days. You can't just call her. You got to wait 3 days. And then he goes home and he's looking at a number and he goes, so he rings her and it goes to her answering machine. So he just leaves this thing, hi, it's, thing from tonight.
Yeah.
Character's name, I can't remember the character's name, bloody hell.
Trent,
that's it. We met tonight and, we had a nice talk. It'd be nice to meet up for some time. And he's talking, the machine cuts him off. He's like, so he rings her back. I'm sorry, your machine cut me off. I just wanted to say that this is here's my number. And it was really nice to see. And then the machine cuts her off again. He's like, look, your machine keeps cutting me off. And it gets worse and worse and worse. In the end, he's like just saying to her, look, I've just got to have a really bad relationship and things have been dirty. So this might be explaining why I'm acting a bit weird. But,
Oh, no.
And it gets so cringy. And in the end, she just rings him back and went, don't call me again. And just hangs it up. And he's like, oh. And then he goes into this depression. How much it escalates is just like, you can't believe, like, stop doing it. Just stop
doing it.
picking
Don't
up
do
the
it again.
goddamn phone.
Yeah, and that's, yeah, nicely played. Nicely played.
He's also got good friends who are honest with him, and they're there for him. But it's a good film, man. I stand by it. It's a really good film. I really recommend anyone watching this. I really do. So
yeah, well, it's definitely on my list to seek out, to seek and destroy.
On a budget of $250,000, it made $4.6 million. So there you go.
Okay,
did all right.
$4.6 million cannot be wrong. Can't go wrong with that. That's pretty good.
There we go.
Yeah, cool.
Number
4. Wow, it's getting hot in here. Oof.
Ain't taking off all my clothes.
It's getting a bit warm in here. It's starting to burn. I just feel like I might just turn into a werewolf or something and start dancing.
All right, this is my number 4 as well. Yeah, goddamn it.
Yeah, so my 4th choice is From Dusk Till Dawn, and it is
also my 4th choice. This is my 4th choice.
So we both got this.
For 2 of America's most dangerous criminals.
Now, do you understand the meaning of the words low profile?
One night is all that stands between them and freedom.
This is my kind of place.
But it's going to be one hell of a night. From Robert Rodriguez, from Quentin Tarantino.
Welcome to slavery. No thanks. I already have a wife.
From Dusk Till Dawn, rated R.
Yeah, this is the year where we just know we can't just ignore these films. From Dusk Till Dawn is just one of those extremely clever movies that you don't expect. You don't expect what happens in it. You think you're watching one film and then it becomes something else.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I went watching this at the cinema, I had no idea.
Yeah, no idea. I was clueless.
No clue. I went to watch it because I knew Tarantino was in it and he'd written it, and I thought, it's going to be a cool like.
It's going to be a road
film.
movie, and there's going to be people with guns running from the law, and it's just going to be that, and there's there is the kidnapped woman, but it's George Clooney for crying out loud. I mean, this was.
Well, I never watched ER. I watched
I
didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, so this was his breakout movie. Forget about Out of Sight with Jennifer Lopez. This was it.
Which is a good film, by the way.
It is a great film, but
anyway,
this is Quentin Tarantino's acting his chops off in this, not since Reservoir Dogs, I think.
Yeah, he's actually good. He gets called for his bad acting, but he's actually good in this film.
He is good.
He plays a psychopath very well.
Yes, he's got that cold, sinister. You wouldn't trust him in a room with anybody kind of.
Yeah, but also he's got that thing about him where you think he's harmless, but there's some in his eye you think, no, he's not.
Yeah, he might just pick up a book and read it, or he'll just,
Yeah,
murder
and
you
that
to death.
scene where he leaves with the hostage, and he's just like, "Oh, would you like to sit next to me?" It's
Yeah.
awful. It's absolutely horrific.
It is. It's terrible.
And that girl, that woman, is the sweetest looking woman you could imagine.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just. I don't skip
Because they
forward.
kidnapped her.
But yeah.
She was work. Where was she? A waitress? Was she?
I think she was a waitress or worked in a shop or something, weren't they? And just
Yeah.
took her as leverage, really.
That was it.
Get 'em over
Yeah.
the border.
So but that's it. I mean, it was just this kind of criminals on the run film, and it was you got Juliette Lewis and Harvey Keitel kind of get embroiled in their getaway, and of course they cross the border and they go off into this remarkable titty twisters. Was it titty twisters?
Titty Twister. That's what the place is called. The Titty Twister.
And it's like they go there, and we're thinking, it's just going to be the typical set piece. We're going to be holding ourselves in this building, and we're going to be surrounded by cops, and there'll be a shootout. There'll be sheriffs and deputies just surrounding it with their cars. It'll all come swooping into this big dust trail of. And you think you know what you're going to do with this, and then, whoa.
It is. It's properific. It's bloody gory.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's...
So well done. The makeup in this movie was a dream come true for everybody who worked with it, because they just did any idea that was possible, they just said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the band should turn into weird zombie vampire things, and then for some reason just explode at the end for no reason. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
And that's the thing. I mean, we just made sense of the first half of the movie. There's no way you can actually describe the plot of the second half. Salma Hayek dancing. That's it.
That was formative for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like... Remember the first time that happening, I'm just like, I've never wanted anyone to pour champagne into my mouth using a foot in all my life, but yes, please, can I have that?
Yeah, and it's like, this is the place where you have to go to find that experience. Okay, where's the nearest biker bar? Yeah, I'll give it a go. The Irish Queen down in Boston. Okay, they are open until 2:00. I'm sure it'll be fine.
But again, when we talked about earlier, we were talking about Scream and sort of vouching for the bad guy because you want to see the creative death, murder.
Yeah.
You end up, because although like Clooney and Tarantino, not Tarantino as much because he's a creep, but Clooney you like.
Yes.
He's like a really cool
Seth. You think
guy.
that Seth is redeemable somehow,
Yeah, there's something about him that, like, no matter how, because he's a bad guy, he's a bad person.
Yeah.
But you kind of like him, and
charisma.
And then when it all kicks off at the end, his main flaw is how much he loves his brother, and he'll forgive his brother for whatever he does.
Yes. Yeah.
In his head, he's like, all we have to do is get across the border, and we'll start a fresh life, and everything that we've done is gone.
Yeah.
Across the border, we'll have a new life.
Start afresh. Yeah, exactly. But they will still be Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney, and that's the whole thing about this movie, is that nothing will change. But what changes is the world around them suddenly becomes unmanageable and out of their depth, and that's it. And that's the perfect place that you want, because you could have just had them holding up in this bar with police surrounding them. You could have just done that and it would have been fine, but it couldn't have been that. And this basically just pushed them over the edge, and yet here we are, we're strapped in, we're watching it, we're thinking, okay, so this is what we're doing now. I'm in.
Clearly.
You don't question it. You're like, right, okay, we're doing this. Fine. Yeah. A lot of movies like this could learn a lot from this film. You do find that a lot. There was one film I watched recently with Mel Gibson. He was a radio DJ, and it was the was it Last Call or something? It was straight to Netflix movie, and it was just the typical thing. And I thought about it then. It's like, well, they needed to do something in that third act. It just falls flat, and most films have that problem where they get to the third act. They've got this great idea, which the great idea is always the middle of the movie. You know, they then have to patch in whatever the story that leads up, and then how do we end it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. And unfortunately, it's that way. But this is so done on purpose by design. There's no way that.
Is it though, or is it that Tarantino had part of a script for a really good road crime thriller?
Yeah.
And Robert Rodriguez just wants to do a vampire film, and he was like, you know what?
Yes, but then they found a way, and it worked. Yeah. So there's no way that you'd actually come up with this the first idea in your head. Let's do a buddy heist movie and then vampires. Yeah, let's do that. No. It happened exactly like that. They both had their own thing that they wanted to do. They both wanted to do it now. Yeah.
I feel fortunate because I didn't really know the title of the film when we were watching it. I just remember it was my mate Matt, who's a huge cinephile, and he actually works in film distribution in London now. That's his job, is getting filmed in and, you know, distributing around the country, and that is, you know, he's successful, unlike, you know, he just plays guitar for a living. But anyway, but you remember him saying, "Oh, we need to go watch this film. Tarantino's written it. It's going to be a great film." You know, I was like, "Yeah, Tarantino. I'm in. Let's go in." I didn't really.
Yeah, it's like another Tarantino movie was the title that you were going to go and see.
At that point in time, definitely in the mid to late '90s, Tarantino's doing it. I'm going to go watch it. So I just went on that recommendation, and so From Dusk Till Dawn is probably wouldn't have put, there's going to be vampires in this. But it alludes to it. It's a great title for a film, you know.
Yeah. It's so hidden, and yet it's right there. Yeah, it's there.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I mean, this is that year where, you know, you've got Scream that's kind of like undoing the narrative, you know, the genre of horror. This is undoing other genres and blending and fusing.
Yeah.
It's a wonder that this year was we want to talk about these films that were successful, because it was a really good year for smart storytelling, and I think that's where we're coming from with this.
I love it, and it's another one of it's in my list of films where if it's on, I can watch it. Doesn't matter whereabouts in the film it's on. I go, oh great, here we go.
It's kind of inspires you. It's exciting. You think, oh, I want to watch that again. I can't quite remember everything that happened, so I need to, you know, it's like a fix. You just got to have it.
Yeah. And the characters are great. Like Harvey Keitel's a priest, isn't he? You know,
he is. Yeah, Juliette Lewis. I can't remember really. She's just the daughter, isn't she? But
daughter, yeah. And he's got his son, who's like a Chinese lad.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And he's like, well, you know, they try to say, well, he's clearly not, and he's just like, no, he's my son. And it's as if like Harvey Keitel really is the toughest bloke out of a lot of them.
He is. Yeah.
You know, and he's Harvey Keitel is such a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, you know, you talk about the De Niros and the Pacinos and the Hoffmans and that, but Harvey Keitel, man, he's so good. He's brilliant in this. Because that juxtaposition between his religious beliefs, the vampirism that's happening around him, and just wanting to look after his family. I mean, by the end of it, the only person living is Juliette Lewis and Clooney.
Is it? Yeah, and wow, it's yeah.
And that what's that line at the very end of it where Juliette Lewis's character says like to Seth, doesn't he, to George Clooney, saying like, "Can I stay with you?" He's like, "I may be a bastard, but I'm not a fucking bastard." You know, and it's like
so many layers, so many levels.
It's a great film.
Film. Fantastic.
In fact, just give me a second. You come here a second, love.
Hello. How come we're talking Dusk Till Dawn?
It's film 1990.
Right.
Yeah, 1996.
So far, we usually don't pick the same films, but so far we picked two films the same. That was one of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
And actually in the same number in the list as well.
Yeah, same number.
Number 1 was the same. Number 4 was the same.
That's it. Yeah, and I think with number 5 is going to be the same as well.
looking likely, even though we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Right, I'll leave you two to get on. So,
Okay.
yeah. Stephen, see you later.
See you later. It's nice to see you, Tracy. Oh,
Yeah.
bless. Sweet. So 5. Okay, it's not Twister.
No, say it at the same time after 3.
Are you sure? Okay.
3. Right, after 1.
Okay. After
Not
one.
on 1.
On 1.
Oh, no. Yeah, after 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Then, or is it 1, 2, 3? Boom. Is it? Is it on the E of the 3?
It feels like Lethal Weapon. Right.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Fargo.
Once upon a time,
Looks like she's gonna turn cold tomorrow. Yeah, you got that right.
there was a salesman called Jerry Lundergaard
Okay, real good then.
who always dreamt of striking it rich.
Wade, have you had a chance to think about that deal I was talking about, those 40 acres there in Wayzata?
Jerry, we're not going to just give you $750,000.
No, but see, So, we all set on this thing then? You want your own wife kidnapped? Now, her dad, he's real well off, so why don't you just ask him for the money?
Hon? Wade, it's Jerry. I don't know what to do.
It's something hard, geez. It's terrible.
But in a place called Fargo,
Mr. Lundegaard? I'm a police officer from up Brainerd investigating some malfeasance.
anything can happen.
How's Jean? Who's Jean? My wife.
Oops!
All due respect, Jerry, I don't want you mucking this up.
The heck do you mean?
No Gene, no money.
Who are you?
Circumstances have changed, Jerry. What the heck do you mean? Blood has been shed, Jerry.
Here's the second one. I want you to tell me what these fellas look like.
Well, the little guy, he was kind of funny looking.
Can you be any more specific?
He wasn't circumcised.
Geez, that's a good lead.
Yeah.
From the creators of Barton Fink
I'm cooperating here. And there's no,
and Raising Arizona,
What do you fellas got yourself mixed up in? Oh, jeez.
You're there in 30 minutes or I find you, Jerry, and I shoot you, and I shoot your wife, and I shoot all your little children, and I shoot them all in the back of their little heads. You got it?
You should see the other guy. Oh, jeez.
Fargo.
End of story.
Yes, there we go.
It couldn't be anything else. There's.
No, it had to be this.
Yeah.
Had to be.
I love this movie. I love this movie so much.
Incredible. Brilliant.
That's it. That's all we have to talk about. That's it. Nothing to say.
What can you say?
Oh, I think Frances McDormand in this role, she was made for that role.
Yeah.
Nobody else could have done it the way that she did it. She is, what an amazing performance. An actual protagonist who's heavily pregnant, quirky, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More intelligent. Yeah. More intelligent than everybody else.
So smart, but yet, she'd be at home, just making a TV dinner and watching a little bit of Jeopardy.
Yep.
She'd just be so amazing. Yeah. Oh, such a. The thing about this film, okay, is that it just feels like you're in that slice of life moment. This feels like somebody's just gone around to their house, is just filming them doing their job. It could have been done as a found footage film. It could have been done as a kind of like a pseudo documentary, but it wasn't. Luckily, they didn't do that because the Coen brothers are smart.
Very smart.
This has got to be probably one of the It should have got. I don't think it got Best Picture though, did it?
Yeah, it got nominated, obviously.
Yeah.
It won Best Actress and Best Original Screenplay.
That's it. I mean, Frances McDormand stole the show. There's no way you can say it any other way. I mean, William H. Macy, he did a cracking job as well, and he got nominated. Didn't quite get there, but
no. I mean, everybody in it is great, but yeah, it's Frances McDormand is just It just captivating, isn't she? She's incredible.
So how did you come across this film, Andy?
How did I? I think I watched this on one of those things that you keep talking about, those DVDs.
Oh, those things.
Because I watched Raising Arizona and then become obsessed with the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
And then I basically just started watching everything they'd done, and this was obviously one of them. This is probably up there with my favourites of theirs.
I'm surprised it. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't have Harry Dean Stanton in there somewhere. He probably didn't want to travel too far.
No, bit cold.
Yeah, it's cold up there, right? Yeah. And,
That's how I found it. About yourself?
It is cold. Well, yeah, exactly. I got it on rental, and I think it was after the Oscars that I actually watched it, though. It was after, so I'd seen the clips, and I'd seen Frances McDormand and how she just swanned up to receive that Academy Award with such strength and character and such a loving warmth to her. She seems to be like motherly and yet, authoritative in everything she does. It could have been Jodie Foster, Silence of the Lambs kind of a casting. It could have been really serious and just straightforward. But her character is just incredible. They don't come around like this. She's so fleshed out. She's so human, so relatable.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I've been to Fargo. I mean, I lived in Fargo and it's not what it is on the screen, though. It's very different.
Right.
The voices are, you've got those stretches of absolute pure white snow everywhere. That I'll certainly say, and that they got the character of Fargo, but not so much the people. There's a lot more of them. It seems like that they show Fargo as just being this kind of very remote, one house there, and 10 miles down the road there's another house. It seems a lot more remote in this movie than it really is, but that's because they shot it elsewhere, of course. They didn't shoot it in Fargo. But it's
Did you go to Fargo because of the film?
No, it was because that's where I was working for Navtech at the time, and they had an office in Fargo and in Chicago, and I kept on being sent to the Fargo branch, and I loved it. It was amazing. And of course, Fargo being kind of like the only well-known place in that part of America, next to Winnipeg. It's one of those places you just don't set a film, It's it's so far away from everything, and that's it. That's why it has that kind of character. It's got its own character, and they do talk a little bit like that, but not that strong.
Right.
Everybody called me Stefan in Fargo. I have no idea why. Hey, Stefan. Hey, how's it? How you going, Stefan? What you doing? And I did hear one Fargonian guy say,
I think we should go over there and give them a good spanking.
Saying stuff like that, and it's kind of like it's that innocent way of like I'm really annoyed. We would like oh, I'm so annoyed with that, but I'm going to go and give them a jolly good spanking. And it's kind of like they don't want to say it, but they just have to say something.
Right.
Kind of mentality, and it's but the film is if you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life, really?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of the all-time greatest films, isn't it? It's that good,
Yeah. And it kind of exposed the Coens to a worldwide audience, because they were often very, you hadn't watched a lot of Coen until you saw Fargo, and then you wanted to see more.
That was the thing. Well, I had that with Raising Arizona, because I love Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
It just made me I want to watch everything they've done, and obviously that's one of my favorites.
But Fargo is so much more restrained than Raising Arizona.
Oh, it is. Of course it is. Yeah, Raising Arizona is more sort of slapstick humor, really, and it's not quite as
with a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're so reserved with this movie that the baby's still inside the belly.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's not. It gives her cramps and it gives her the burps, and that's such an amazing film. And of course, you look at wood chippers in a different way after this movie too.
Certainly do. You certainly do.
Cool. So that was what was anything to say for more to Fargo?
Not really. It's just it's an incredible film. I love it, and
I think it's probably the only film that year that really the score stands out more than the actual soundtrack.
More than the soundtrack, I think the 90s was definitely a decade of soundtracks more than the scores.
With both,
obviously, you got Jurassic Park and stuff like that, but really, soundtracks was a big thing then,
Yeah, and it was kind of like the time where you would actually go to our price or Andy's Records and just buy a soundtrack CD. Just flick through those soundtracks and go, oh yeah, I'd like that one.
Now every time if you go to HMV, all it is if you go to the soundtrack section, it's either Disney or bloody Marvel films, just like that, and or Tarantino films where the soundtrack will be good, but
Yes, they might have but we were getting mixes. They used to do a lot of these like fake orchestras doing sound scores and then putting it out as compilations. That's what we used to have a lot of. And then we'd buy it, and it's like, this isn't Jaws, this is, we'd say, oh, so you'd have to buy the official soundtrack, otherwise you were duped. It was a big market. There was a lot going on in that market, and there we go. So it wasn't Trainspotting. Why didn't we choose Trainspotting?
I don't know, because I love that film.
I love that film, and I wanted to, but then I thought, that should be its own movie, its own podcast, I think.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the second one, Trainspotting 2?
That's the thing. I want to see it, and I haven't seen it. And
I've not.
I don't know where to find it. It's just not available on anything, really. It's like when I think about watching it, it's a time like this, and I think, oh, yeah, I'll remember to watch that, but I never do. Never do.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should. Maybe once we've got the 90s out of the way, we can do a little Trainspotting podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Just to cover the bases, definitely.
Yeah, I would like to maybe, because Trainspotting is so in my mind all the time. So I've seen it so many times that it would be nice to see the second one and then talk about it straight away and go.
That would be worthwhile. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that one. It's kind of interesting, and the actual subject matter itself is kind of interesting, as I've kind of I've been on the outside of watching people go into that kind of deep dark heroin thing, and I've known people who have actually been in that kind of environment as well, and so it's kind of interesting, kind of just skirting on the edge of being aware of it, But so it's Trainspotting to me is kind of like peeling back the curtain and just showing the stuff that I could have actually seen, if I'd have actually hung out with the wrong people.
Yeah,
it's an odd thing, but yeah. That Thing You Do was the Liv Tyler entry of that year.
I think two of your scenes that are just favorite scenes of mine in the whole movie. The one where you get so excited when their record is being played on the radio, and you just run down the street, you just go berserk. Now, tell me about shooting that scene.
Well, it started at the mailbox, and I was listening to the radio, and I supposedly hear the song for the first time. But of course, in movie life, there's no song on the radio. That gets added in later. So they have these really great new devices they're little earpieces you can wear for, like when you do scenes where you're dancing with the person and there's music playing and you have dialogue, they have to cut the music for the dialogue. So they have these things that play the music. And I had this piece in, and Tom was talking to me from down the street, making me laugh, and pretending to be the radio announcer. And then it went on for a couple days of running down the street back and forth screaming at the top of my lungs. I could barely bend my knees because my pants were so tight, and I had to run for hours. But probably good for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we've mentioned it, so now we can put a picture of her and get more views.
Yay! Shame on you.
Or Aerosmith fans.
Or
You just don't know.
That's what it is. It's pure Aerosmith love. That's what it is. Yeah. So thank you very much, Andy. Oh, hang on. We've got a. I can hear something in the corner. Hang on. What's going on?
I'm Jackie Chan.
Welcome to the Jackie Chan Corner with Andy Lewin. Ready?
Action.
Fight.
De Niro, wow. Dustin Hoffman. Jackie Chan.
I'm Jackie Chan.
Oh, just quickly, Jackie Chan corner.
Yes.
After that mild racism, First Strike, 1996's First Strike. It was his idea of trying to do a bit of a Bond-esque film, directed by Stanley Tong, who directed Rumble in the Bronx with him, who he likes, and it was a bit of a sort of espionage type thing, a bit globe-trotting.
Yes.
Film. It's all right. It's okay. It's a good film. Definitely worth a watch. It's the one. If anyone interested in the big fight set, it's the one where he jumps through the steps of the step ladder. It's the one where he goes legs first through one of them while he's fighting.
Through a step ladder.
Yeah, he goes through. The steps on the step ladder. He goes between one of them. Legs first. Yeah. So there's that. It's got like a memorable underwater fight scene where the shark's there as well.
Does he punch and kick a shark?
Can't remember what happens with the shark. I just like the fight scene in it, but yeah.
But First Strike is definitely one of those titles that when you think of how are we going to sell this to American audience, it's like that's. I love a bit of mild racism, but just call it First Strike.
You would have thought, well, a lot of the Americans are very fat and they have strokes. Call it First Stroke. No, we can't call it that. Call it First Strike. There we go.
What about Fist Strike? No, that could be. No. Fist Stroke.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that's a different movie. Not to be confused with First Strike. There we go. So was that the only entry for Mr. Chan?
I think it was. That was the one that sort of came up.
Yeah.
That was like worth talking about. But it's good. It's a good film. It's definitely a good film. It's good. It's funny. It's a good laugh.
Yep.
It's worth a watch. Definitely. Oh my God! You know what it is out in 1997? Spice World, the movie. Come full circle. It's come full circle.
This is a cliffhanger. Will we or won't we? We'll find out next week. Okay, thank you very much, Andy. And you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes. You can also see us on YouTube, where there's a picture of Tyler with every episode. And you can also find us on Amazon Music. And thank you very much, Andy Lewin, for.
Thank you.
You're going to play us out with a tune.
Oh, okay.
Maybe something that links us up with Tom Cruise? No.
When they released it, can I talk a bit nerdy? You can fade this out while I'm talking. So, the Mission Impossible is in an odd time signature. It goes. When they released it, I think it was for Mission Impossible 2. You go from that time signature and they go into a straight 4/4 time signature, and it actually grooves and could be a funk song. So check this out. So it goes like, I'll go from, what was it? Might be in 5 or 7, I don't know, but so it goes like, right, so that's your odd time signature. Then
that's it.
And it grooves, doesn't it?
It does. It does change. I do remember that one.
Oh, I remember. I think it works. And I'd play that in a funk band. I think it works really well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect. Over to you, Tom Cruise.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! Charlie, don't surf!
This is fantasy.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Quit griping.
I like griping.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Life moves pretty fast.
you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.